All right, guys. Ryan is trying my life right now with this Phillip Rivers argument. Now, before I dig into here and crush him in this argument, I have to do a little bit of house cleaning. Number one, like, subscribe to the video, comment, let me know what you think. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? Am I right or am I wrong? Number two, I promised that we'd give a shout out to our 50th subscriber. That was Hope Connell. Her husband was actually 49th. So shout out to both of them, but especially Hope for being that 50th. We really appreciate that. The support. She's been a great friend forever. Now, time to destroy Ryan in this Phillip Rivers argument once and for all. All right. So my argument isn't only just against Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning. Okay, it's not about them in particular. They were both great quarterbacks. Did well, had successful NFL careers. It's against the whole argument as the whole Hall of Fame as a whole. Okay, you shouldn't be enough to be an average to above average quarterback and get into the Hall of Fame. You should have to be a generational type player, a game changer, someone who just changed everything about the game and what you think about for that position. Okay, so Ryan brought up a couple players. He brought up Marino and Dan Fouts. Okay, I'm going to dispute that right now. First of all, you're talking about a different era of football. You're talking about Dan Marino, who played in the 80s. Okay, Fouts, who played in the 70s. Completely different eras of football. Okay, to give you an idea, Fouts was the first player in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards. Okay, the first one to do it. So I'm not making an argument that Fouts shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because he threw for 4,000 yards. He was the only one to ever do it. Dan Marino, when he retired, he held 40, count them, 40 single season records as a quarterback. 40 of them. Okay? Phillip Rivers doesn't hold any that I know of. All right? He had a career win percentage of 549. That's 123 wins to 101 losses. Okay, it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's not a good stat. And I'm a Phillip Rivers fan. I've liked Phillip Rivers my whole life. So it's not that I don't like Phillip Rivers. Okay? But Marino had a 613 average, 147 to 93. He had more wins and less losses. Okay? Then you want to point to the playoff record. Because my argument was that Phillip Rivers hasn't done anything. Okay? He's never won an AFC title game. He's never won a Super Bowl. He's never even been to a Super Bowl. He's never won an MVP. Marino has. He's been to a Super Bowl. He didn't win it, granted, but he's been to the championship games. He's won MVP awards. So here's the big stat, playoff-wise. Phillip Rivers is 4-4 for his career. Okay? Marino's 8-10. Yes, Marino has a losing career postseason record, but he's been to 8. He's been to the same amount, or he's been to 18, excuse me. Rivers has been to 8. He's been to 10 more games than Rivers did. And here's an impressive stat for you guys that I bet a lot of you guys didn't know. In those 10 losses, the Dolphins rushed for an average across those 10 losses of 53 yards. How can you expect a guy to win a football game when they've got 53 yards rushing on average? It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. Okay? The touchdown-interception ratio for Rivers is okay. It's 1.5. He had 397 touchdowns to 198 picks. Marino had 420 to 250, but you're comparing it to two different players in two different eras. Okay? And it's not that I don't think that Phillip Rivers is going to get in, because Rivers is going to get in the Hall of Fame. It wouldn't even surprise me if he was a first ballot Hall of Famer because of the way the Hall of Fame is currently set up. But that's part of my problem is that the way the Hall of Fame is set up, it rewards anybody for having a slightly above average career. It doesn't take into account that you should be a generational type athlete when you get into the Hall of Fame. Okay? Guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. When you look at a guy like Dan Marino, going back to him, he's also, I think, the first player to throw for 5,000 yards. He held 40 single-season records, guys. Of course he gets in. He's a generational talent. Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls. Generational talent. Peyton Manning broke every record there is. Generational talent. Guys are incredible. Hall of Famers changed the position forever. Okay? Phillip Rivers did not do that. Phillip Rivers had an above-average career. He was a good pro, a solid pro, but nothing special. He shouldn't be wearing a gold jacket just because he played for 16 years. Think about it. One of the big things Ryan brought up is he threw for 59,000 yards. In 16 seasons, that's an average of 3,500 yards a season. That's average for the NFL nowadays. That's not that big of a deal in the NFL nowadays. Now, I don't want to take it away because 3,500 yards is a lot of yards. But it's not uncommon. The majority of players in the NFL, quarterbacks in the NFL, throw for more than 3,000 yards a season now. It's just commonplace. So the fact that he's been in for 16 years, maybe 17 if he plays this year, doesn't make, I mean, it's not that impressive. It's not impressive when you're comparing it to guys like Dan Marino, who threw for 60,000 yards in a time where people didn't do that. The average quarterback was throwing for 2,500 or 3,000 yards. And he was throwing for 5,000, guys. I mean, come on, 40 single-season records. What does Rivers have to show for it? I like Rivers. Rivers is a good guy. He's a great leader. I like watching him play. But, I mean, in this argument, yes, he's going to get in the Hall of Fame because of the way the Hall of Fame is set up, but that's part of the problem, okay? He shouldn't get in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel. We'll have more content like this, go back and forth. Please, everybody go to Ryan's video, and for the love of God, let him know that he's wrong and that Phillip Rivers is not a Hall of Famer. Just let him know in the comments because it's going to burn his ass. He's going to be pissed. I'll see you guys next time.